Hi everyone, welcome back to Motherhood Unfiltered. This is our episode number 2, the moment it all changed. Whether you are expecting, whether you are trying to conceive, or you're in for a good surprise. Mitzi, I know your story was very iconic on how you found out. You can start first.
Yes. Okay. So, like, for me, like I said, I was in nursing school and I had a week off. So my husband and I were planning to go to Vegas, party it up, drink it up. Like, we were ready, like, to party. So on our way there, so prior to our trip, I noticed that my husband was sleeping a little more than often. And I was like, oh, why is he being so tired? He would go to work and sleep all the way to the next day that he would go to work. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, work is really draining him. Anyways, I didn't really think much of that.
So you didn't have any symptoms?
No. At this point, nothing. Okay, I guess one symptom I did have was a really big cramp in my stomach, and it was so bad that I would kneel and, like, I couldn't breathe.
Really? And this was before going to Vegas?
Before going to Vegas
Okay.
and while in Vegas, the first day we were in Vegas. But so yeah, I had that cramp, terrible feeling in my stomach. I couldn't breathe, but I thought I was just starting my period. I was like, okay, like, this is one of the bad ones, I guess. On our way there, he brought a sandwich with a lot of avocado, and he took a bite and he gagged. He was like, "Ugh," like, take it away from me. Like,
And normally, does he like avocado?
yeah, he used to like avocado. Now, after that incident, he won't
He
eat
won't eat it at all.
no.
He won't touch it.
He won't touch it. So I was like, why are you gagging? Like, that's so weird. You used to like avocado. And I was like, wait, you think I'm pregnant? And he was like, no, like, we're going to Vegas. We're fine. Nothing.
So why did you think, like, what if I'm pregnant? Like, what?
Because
What sparked that?
he's not sensitive. He doesn't take naps that are that long. So he would literally come from work and sleep. And then I was just putting, like, puzzles together. I was like, okay, he's sleeping a lot. He's having nausea. But I'm like, shouldn't I have it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So as soon as we got to Vegas, so the whole way there, he was kind of nauseous, feeling weird. And as soon as we got there, I was in the back of my head, I was like, no, I think I'm pregnant. I should get checked. And the first day, not the first day, first half of the day, we enjoyed the day. We went to the pool.
Were you drinking?
I got a drink, but in the back of my head, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be drinking, but I took 2 sips.
Okay.
I was like,
So something told you, like, your
Yeah.
intuition was telling you, don't drink, Mitzi.
yeah, it was 2 sips. I was like, 1, 2. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like 2 little sips, and I was like, no, Richie, like, I'm not comfortable. I feel like we should go to CVS and take a test. So we got out of the pool. We went to go get dressed, and we walked to CVS. We came back to the hotel, and literally the fastest positive I've ever seen in my life.
What was your reaction when you saw the positive?
I think I was in so much shock. I don't remember. I was just like, where are the cameras? I was like, I think this is broken. I was like, no. I brought like 3, I think. I still have it.
Uh-huh.
But no, I saw the positive and it was so fast. As soon as I peed, that thing went bonk, like, nothing, no waiting, no nothing. I was like, oh my God. And I called Richie and I told him.
How did he react?
He started crying. He was happy.
Aww.
And, like, he was like, why aren't you happy? And I was just there like, oh.
In shock?
Yeah, I was in shock. I was, like, not expecting it at all. I was scared, honestly. And he was happy because he's been wanting kids for a long time. But
And it finally happened.
I know, but for me, I was like, I'm still in nursing school. I'm a baby.
You weren't following your timeline.
No. And yeah, that also, I was scared of how others would react, I don't know why the whole marriage and my whole pregnancy, I was always like, how are these people going to react? When I should have been like, who cares how they react? I should have just cared about myself. But yeah, the whole trip, Richie was crying. I have, like, pictures of him wearing sunglasses because he was so happy about it. And I thought it was really cute. As soon as I found out, I think we started walking through the strip, and I think I was thinking about it too much, that I felt super tired. Like, all of a sudden, I feel like it was like a placebo effect. You see that you're pregnant. Yeah, like, you see that you're pregnant, and all of a sudden, oh my God, I look huge.
I'm bloated.
No, yeah. We were walking, and I felt super tired, and I was like, Richie, I'm pregnant. I can't do this all this walking.
Was it hot?
It was so hot. It was
no.
It was in May, I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It
it
was
was really hot. And so we were walking around. I started getting nauseous, but I didn't really know what nausea really felt like until the last day we were in Vegas. So we were in Vegas for 4 days, and this was the first
You
day.
found out on the first day.
I found out on the first day.
Which
Thank
is
God,
good.
though. Yeah, because we would have drunk a lot. So I was like, no, but on the first day I found out, and then by the fourth day when we were going home, the nausea hit 100%. And if you know my pregnancy, you know I was dying. So like that first day was the start. That last day of Vegas was the start
I know. You would
of
see
my
Mitzi and
nausea.
she looked like a ghost.
Yeah, it was so bad. So on the way home, I was just like, no, Richie, I think I'm gonna throw up. And he was like, no, you're just thinking about it. I was like, no, Richie, like, I don't feel so good. You could just see my face was pale. I'm already white as it is. So if you see me pale, you know I'm sick. So on the way home, I was like, you have to get me some food. And as soon as I got food, I was okay. But I felt disgusting. I was like, no, I'm going to throw up. How am I going to do this? And funny story that I felt like I couldn't hold it in. I'm very bad at keeping secrets that are exciting.
I thought you couldn't hold in the pee.
No. no, not yet. I was like, that's later on.
I was like, man, that was early. That was quick.
No. But as soon as I found out, I was like, oh my God, like I want to tell someone. But you know, when you get pregnant with your first one, you don't really tell anyone just in case. So on our drive home, you know how we're really close with Beto and Jackie?
Yeah.
Beto is Richie's cousin and Jackie is his wife. And we're very close with them. They have a baby, you know, we're very close with the baby too. And as soon as we found out, we're like, should we ask them to hang out? And we're like, no, not yet. Like, we wanted to do it special, but then also we had to tell someone. Felt like we had to tell someone.
Yeah, it feels like you're keeping a secret.
Yeah. And for them, like, I feel like we wanted to tell them, like, right away, just because they were literally on our way home. And I didn't want to tell my siblings or my parents.
Because if they found out, everyone else would know, right?
Yeah, that. And also, I wanted to make it special for you guys. So for everyone that was like our siblings and our parents, I knew I wanted to make it special. And I wanted to make it special for Beto and Jackie, but I think I just couldn't hold it in.
You had to tell someone.
We had to tell someone. So Richie texted Beto and we're like, oh, let's hang out. And they were free, which is kind of weird because they're never free.
They're always busy camping or doing something.
They're always doing something. So we texted them right away. We're like, guys, let's meet here or let's go eat somewhere. So we went to go eat at this Wings and Rings place. And I was so nervous, and I was so nervous that I didn't record. And you know I record everything.
You do.
There's two people that I didn't record with, and that was Betty and Moy and Beto and Jackie, because I was just so nervous to tell someone. And I was like, also Richie was shy to record because I was like, should I record or should I not? He's like, no, don't record because that's like makes it
he was all
obvious.
Embarrassed.
Yeah, or like awkward. I don't know. But we were sitting in the table, and my heart was beating, like racing. I was like, this is not true, because
like, when am I gonna tell them? How do I slide it in?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, guys, you guys want to know something? And they're like, what? And I was like, oh, we're pregnant. And they're like, no.
They couldn't believe it.
They couldn't believe it because, like I said, if you know me, you knew my plan. You knew that I wanted to wait till I was 28. You know, they knew everything. So Jackie was like, no, shut up.
She thought it was a joke.
Yeah, she thought it was a joke. She's like, you're lying. I was like, no, like, here's the test. Like, here's everything. She was in shock for, like, the longest. But I was very glad that I told someone because I needed to get it out. If not, someone like my sister or you guys were going to find out first. Exactly. And I was like, no, I need to let it out. So they were very happy for us, you know. So they were the first two people to know. And a week later, because I was not scared, but I wanted to know how far in my pregnancy I was. And my aunt is an RN. She's a nurse for NICU, and my uncle is a nurse for emergency room. So I was like, I feel like comfortable telling them next.
Just because they can help you out if something happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So if something happens, or they've had 2 babies. They were the most recent ones that had kids. So I was like, I'll ask them, you know, what do you guys recommend me to do? Should I go see a doctor now? You know, everything. That they gave me a lot of advice. So when I told my aunt, I literally just pulled out the pregnancy test. I was like, oh, yeah, want to see something? I was like,
and what was her reaction?
Like, shut up! I was like, I know. And I started crying. I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. It was like, I'm a high schooler. I'm just kidding. I don't know why I always feel like I'm so young, but I'm just like, I'm a baby.
Don't worry, I feel super young and I'm 29.
I know, no, I was with my aunt. I was like, hold me. I was like, I'm scared. I was like, yeah, I'm scared. I was just crying. And she's like, it's going to be fine. You're going to be okay. You know, once you're a mom, it'll all like flow. And I didn't believe her. I was like, no, I'm not ready. Like, I don't know. It's like, how are we going to connect and all this and that. And I just had so many questions. And I remember I just blurred them all out to her. And I was just so scared. But yeah, she was the second one to know because she was going to guide me through the process. She did come with me to my first doctor's appointment and told me to do this and that. So I was really happy that I told them first. And she's also very artsy. So she'll make like little boxes for you. She made our little glasses, you know. She loves to do crafts. So I was like, to help me tell my family. So I made little boxes for them. I made a box for my sister. For my sister, she made us a sweater.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, she said auntie era. For my brother, he made she made an uncle era shirt. So for them, she had done it all. She was like, oh, look what I did for you, like here, like
That
for
is
Ethan
so
and Iris. Like
cute.
she was so excited. So after my aunt, I told my siblings. I told my sister first when we went to go get boba. But funny story, I we used to study all the time together because we were both in school.
Yeah.
I was in nursing school. She was on her way to nursing school also, and we would study together. And one day, like, she just asked me so loud in Tierra Mia, she was like, are you pregnant? And I was like, huh?
Like, how do you
I
know?
was like, what do you mean? Like, this was like probably like a week or two after Vegas because I went back to school after a week. So we were studying together and she's like, are you pregnant? And I was like, I turn red. When you call me out, I'll turn red. When I'm shy, I turn red. So I was like, no, like, why would you say that? And she was like, are you lying to me? I feel like you're lying to me. She's like, I feel like you're pregnant. I could feel it. I was like, what?
Like, how do you know?
I was like, you're weird. Are you pregnant? Maybe you feel like your baby. Like, I don't know. So fast forward to like a couple weeks after, I told her that I was pregnant through a box. So she opened a box, but I was like, oh, I got this new hair product because I put it in a hair product box. I was like, you want to open it? Look at my new blow dryer. And she was like, okay. She opens it. She's like, huh? She's like, I told you you're pregnant. She was so excited. She was so happy. She also started crying.
Oh, how
And
sweet.
then also with my brother the next day, because I wanted to tell them back to back, because I knew that they talk here. So like it's gonna
He's gonna find out.
Yeah. So I took my brother to school with Richie and I gave my brother a box also. I was like, oh look here, this is for you. We got you a gift. And he opened it. He was like, "What the heck?" Like he's also very like clueless sometimes, so he didn't expect
very
anything.
young, too.
Yeah. But my brother was happy and excited that he was gonna be uncle because this was gonna be the first baby in the whole family. So everyone was pretty excited.
So who was the most surprised? Who had the most surprising reaction?
Well, I think my mom. My mom because she didn't expect it at all.
I know. And how did you feel about telling her that you were expecting?
Girl, the whole time since I found out, I was like, I'm so scared to tell my mom. Like, how am I gonna tell my mom? I don't know why I acted like I wasn't married for 3 years already. Like, I don't know, but I was so scared to tell my mom. I was like anxious the whole time. I was always telling my aunt how am I gonna tell her? How is she gonna react? So my mom didn't expect it at all because it was Mother's Day weekend. So it was Mother's Day weekend, and I didn't get her a gift because I was going to give it to her the next week, the week after. And my aunt had made her a little box. My mom calls me Ladybug. So I decorated a little like box that you keep little stuff inside.
Okay.
It's a wood box, and I decorated it with.
It's almost like a little treasure box, right?
Yeah, like a treasure box. And I decorated it with Ladybug stuff. And I was like, oh, mom, here you go. Happy Mother's Day. And I wasn't dressed up or anything. I was just still in like my night stuff. I was going to sleep. So I was like, here you go, mom. And she opens it and she's like, she's like, she thought it was a gift for her for Mother's Day. And then when she reads, like, she sees a little onesie because it was a onesie inside the little ladybug. So she said, because she saw all the ladybugs. But then when she saw the onesie, she was like, this was her face for like a whole 5 minutes. She did not move. I was like, hello,
Mom, like what's going on?
I was like, Mom, I'm pregnant. It was like, and she could not believe it. And my dad was like, oh, shut up. Like, you're pregnant. Like, don't tell me. Like, he was super excited too. You know, grandparents are always going to be the happiest. But my mom was super excited, and she was so excited that she also can't keep secrets. So right away she's like, everyone, let's go tell your grandma, let's go. She's gonna be the great grandma. So
And it's first grandkid, right?
first grandkid, first daughter, first niece, first everything from our side.
Yeah.
From your guys' side, it's a little like the fifth.
Yeah. And my
But
sister beat us.
yeah. But for our side, she was the first. So my mom was so excited that she drove us all to my grandma's house. And my grandma lives like 10 minutes away. So we go to her house and we tell her, oh, our plumbing isn't working. We can't shower. And we have a problem with plumbing. So she was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, sure. Like, everyone can shower here at 11 at night, I guess. It was already super late. So at 11 at night, we all show up, and I had the same box because I didn't have anything ready for her. And I was like, wait, mom, like, I don't have anything ready for her yet. Maybe I should wait a little bit. And she was like, no, like, we have to tell her right now. So I took the same box to my grandma to show it to her and open it. So as soon as we got there, we all entered, and my grandma was like, okay,
She was
a
like,
little, yeah, there's too many of you here.
She
Yeah, she's
suspected
like,
something.
as soon as we got there, she's like, give me kid in the seat. She was like, what do you guys want to tell me? And I was like,
Like, you guys did not come just to shower.
yeah. And my mom was like, Mity wants to tell you something. And she was like, estás embarazada. And then she opens the box.
Suspected. It's funny that, like, this Hispanic, like, culture, they all suspect.
Yes.
Like, what are you going to tell me? You're pregnant? That's her first assumption.
Yes. And let me go back because I forgot a whole story to tell you guys. So before everyone found out I was pregnant, I was nauseous to the core. So bad. The reason why it was so hard for me to keep the secret was because I was so sick. I was so nauseous. I was throwing up all the time. One time I threw up 6 times in a day. So I felt like I was dying. So my mom noticed that I was getting sick before she knew. And she was like, Mitzi, there's something wrong with you. Are you sure you're not pregnant? I was like, Mom, I'm not pregnant. She's like, okay, then we have to go to the doctors. What if you have cancer? And I was like,
what?
I was like, girl. I was like, oh.
She went to an extreme.
Yes. And then that's how my mom is. If you know her, she's super like extra. So she thought I was sick. But my mom has a best friend. Her name's Gabby. And she was like, no, I feel it. Someone is pregnant. We would be in the couch and we would all be tired. It was so weird because I feel like my pregnancy made everyone tired in our living room. So we were all in our living room and we would be like this, like tired, like sleepy. And it wasn't like us. Like we would go out all the time and, so my mom had just gotten like these little rocks. I don't know, like these little rocks that are supposed to calm your house. So I was like, what if it's your rocks? And she was like, you were right, the rocks work so well, and and I was like, like those rocks are so magical. I was like, magical rocks. And then so one time, so the same day, we were going on our way to a restaurant, and I was telling stories. I talk a lot, so I was like telling stories, asking questions. I'm a storyteller, not a storyteller, but I love to talk about people's lives and get to know you. I like to get to know you on a deeper level, so I'll just ask you a bunch of questions about, or like, let's talk about stories that we used to like hang out and stuff. So I was telling a whole story.
What story were you talking about?
I was talking about one time we went to San Felipe, and it was my like family. It was my parents, my siblings, and I. And we were in the pool, and I was like, Iris, can I have some of your pineapple? Because my dad had bought her a pineapple, and I had gone to the restroom, or I don't know where I was. I didn't get a pineapple. And my sister was drinking, and I was like, ooh, can I have a sip? And she said, no, like, get your own. But the guy had already left, and I was like, oh, like, he already left. And there was this other little girl that my sister was hanging out with, and she was like a little güerita, like little super we didn't know her at all.
It was just a
and
stranger.
I was like, but she also got a pineapple. And I was like, can I have a sip of yours?
And did she give you some?
Yes, and she did. And that's why that story I was telling. And when I said the little girl shared with me and my sister didn't, I just started crying in the table, and everyone was like,
what's wrong?
Everyone's like, Mitzi, you're pregnant. Like, they were all suspecting, but I was like, I'm not gonna just blur out that I'm pregnant because I want to tell you guys all special in a special way. But that's what I was thinking. But I was like, I'm not pregnant. I'm really sad about that story.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was just really sad that my sister doesn't share with me, and I always share with her. I just made it like seem like it was her fault. But yeah, so so yeah, that was me before finding out I was pregnancy. Everyone was speculating like, oh, she's pregnant because she's crying, because she's so sick. But my mom thought I was genuinely sick. So fast track to here when she found out, that's why she was so like you thought I thought you were sick, I thought you were dying, like what the heck? Like she was so happy, she was hugging me. And yeah, also my grandparents were super happy. My grandpa didn't get what it was until we literally pulled out the onesie. He was they were like this.
And he was like, "What is that?"
Yeah, he was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he was happy. But yeah, after that, but in between that, also, I think after sorry, at backtrack also to after we told our siblings, we told you guys.
Mhm.
So we told you and Moy on the way to a birthday party. Remember
Yeah.
Jackie and Bethel's son's birthday party? And oh my god, Betty, my heart was so like racy. Like I was like, no, Richard, maybe not today. Like because like how we said in our first story, how you guys were trying it, you guys wanted it, and we
That's
knew you
right.
guys wanted this so badly. And I was just like, oh, like Richie, I feel like we're being rude, like telling them. And Richie's like, it happened, like it's something we have to tell them.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, how are you gonna hide it?
Yeah. So I was just nervous. I was like, okay, like let's do it. And we were gonna tell you guys in your house, but I don't know, somehow we were already in the car, and Richie just blurted out, and I was like,
I know.
I
I remember him just handing
passing
over a
you.
little box, and I was like, okay, I know what this is.
Yes, and I was like, like, oh, like Richie, hold on, I didn't even get it. Okay, first of all, I didn't get to record, but also like I was like nervous, so I didn't even think about
Yeah.
recording.
And I was really happy, excited, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I was in shock. I was like, oh my god, how are they pregnant and not me? Like, so many things started going through my head.
Yeah, was it kind of like, not to say like it was difficult for you to be happy, but was it difficult?
It was hard. Like,
Yeah.
I would have hoped that, I was super happy. I could have shared that emotion with you,
Yeah.
but it was a little bit awkward. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah,
Like,
it was a
and
little
even
awkward.
for you two.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get that. I totally, your reaction was valid because of what you were going through. But we were excited to tell you guys, obviously, but
Mhm.
we were so nervous, and like I was like, are you sure that we said it correctly? Like,
And we were super excited.
yeah, I feel like if we would have known the outcome of us being pregnant together and all of this,
It would have been no big deal.
no big deal, and obviously, but in the moment, I totally get it, and I was understanding of it. But the most like excited person was my mom, and the most nerve wracking was you guys.
Us.
Yeah, and I felt like I
And
was.
that's funny because I never knew that you thought like Betty and Moy are trying to have a baby. I didn't know like you thought that.
No, yeah, because I think like your mom had mentioned like or like she was talking about it because you know how your mom likes to talk on the phone a lot. Sometimes I like would hear it. Yes. So I was just like, okay, like they're trying. It's valid. You guys are already at the age where you guys are gonna try. And I was always expecting like, oh, we're pregnant. Every party I was just like, okay, maybe they'll tell us now. And every time I would go with your to a carne asada, because they do a lot of carne asada.
Oh yeah, we
Moy's
do.
always cooking, and so I was like, oh, maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one.
I know everyone would tell us like maybe it's this time. Like, oh, are you pregnant? As soon as they would walk in, and I would make sure to have like my drink ready, so they wouldn't question me. Like, no, I'm drinking alcohol.
Yeah. Every carne asada, I was waiting for you to tell us, but I also didn't want to be like, oh, is it this one? Are you telling us now? Like,
no, but don't worry. His mom was my suegra was
she did that
quick at that.
Yeah.
As soon as she would walk in, are you pregnant?
Oh my god. And I feel like now I would never do that to someone because I want them to tell me in a special way,
That's right.
or in their way. Now I know how to go about it and not bombard people with, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? When
I
are you
know it's not
pregnant?
a question to ask.
Yeah, no.
people.
So now we're learning. Now we're spreading awareness.
Please do not ask someone, when are you gonna have a baby? Are you pregnant?
Especially if they're like a little older, like in the ages where
mid-20s,
late 20s,
early 30s.
Yeah, so maybe at home it's a whole different story, but yeah, so after that we just kept telling people, and it was just like a group thing, and yeah, it just kept going on. But yeah, my pregnancy was a surprise to everyone. I think when I would tell people, they'd be like, wait, you're pregnant?
Exactly. Not her?
Not her. Yeah, because
like,
that's what Steph said,
everyone
remember?
was yeah,
she was like, oh, I thought you were gonna.
Yeah, we had like a whole family day. I organized this thing. It wasn't because I was trying to announce my pregnancy. I would not do it in a public place like that, and everyone assumed that I was planning this event to announce my pregnancy.
But it was funny because you were pregnant, huh?
I was, but I didn't tell anyone.
So yeah, my story was a big old surprise, and Betty's, everyone already kind of figured in that
or
she
expected it at least.
Yeah, everyone already expected that she was pregnant. So how did your people react?
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit on the story of how I found out I was actually pregnant. So it was a Memorial Weekend last year. We went to Utah for the Memorial Weekend. My uncle actually works on a farm and he has his little area with his own farm. He has his goats.
I've always wanted to go there.
There's cattle. It's
Yeah,
beautiful right
yeah.
outside of where they live. You walk out, all the goats are there. The cows, just fields of grass. It's wonderful. It's really nice, and it's maybe about 40 to an hour away from the city, so it's not right in the city, which is really really nice. We normally do this every like 4th of July, Memorial Weekend. We like to do it once a year, and this year I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, okay, let's go to Utah again. I packed my tampons. I was supposed to start my period, so we were there and.
So on the drive there, you didn't feel any symptoms?
Nothing at all.
Oh, okay.
No,
So
I was just expecting my period to start. So I was actually supposed to start, I think, like Thursday, and it was Friday when we were driving out there.
Oh,
so I was like, oh, normally it's like 1 or 2 days late. Like it'll come anyway.
Got it.
But it didn't. So we were there the first night. I told Daniel, I was like, oh my goodness, I was so hot all night. I think they turned on the heater since it snows there. I was like, they're complaining that it's cold at night, so they turned on the heater. And I was flustered. I was really red. I was blushed. I woke up and I was like, Daniel, I'm gonna go shower.
Yeah.
And I went in the shower, and it was so hot still. I had to call Daniel to. You couldn't even open the window. Like this is how old the little place is. Daniel had to come in and take off the window from like the actual restroom so the air could come in.
Like mi ventana.
but they're used to it. So like my uncle will remove the window when he wants like the air to come in from outside. Yeah. But I had to call Dad. I was like, Daniel, you have to remove this window. It's so hot inside the restroom. And that
in the restroom?
In the restroom.
Oh,
like after I showered. No, so you can actually see the goats outside the window.
You're like, goats, don't look at me.
So yeah, but all weekend we were there. We went fishing, and we also we were flying kites. I took some kites. I was running around with my nieces and nephews with the kites. I didn't even think anything of it. So one day we actually went out to Salt Lake City, which was an hour and a half drive. We had an event. We were going to go explore the city first and then go to this like family party. So on the way back, I was a DD. I didn't want to drink anything. For some reason at the party, they were offering me drinks and I was like, no, like I'm not feeling it today. I took a sip or two and that was it from like
Daniel's. And that's unusual.
I know, for me, right? But I didn't think I was pregnant. I was like, you know what? I've tried for so many months. Like, I'm over this. I'm not pregnant. Like, why even care if I'm drinking or not? Like, usually I would have like a pregnancy test right before I would drink. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. But I was like, forget it. Like, I'm not even going to take the test. Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't suspect it. And I was just like, no, something inside me was telling me like, no, do not drink. Yeah. So I didn't. So I was a DD. I was like, you know what? I'll drive on the way home because my dad and my husband had drinks. Yeah. So on the way back, we were on a highway. It's literally like a one-way highway. Yeah. And there's deer staring at you like as you're driving. I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? Do I stop? Yeah. Do I brake? Do I accelerate? In the middle of the road? No, they're just on the side, like staring. Oh, and
so you felt all the eyes on you.
So I was just thinking like my cousin has gotten in a car accident with the deer, like the deer will just jump into the car. It's a really bad car accident, like the cars get totaled. I was just thinking worst case scenario, like what if the deer like just jumps into my car? Yeah. So I would brake, I would accelerate. I was like sweaty, I was so hot. And like first gas station, I stopped and I told my dad like I'm not driving anymore. Like Daniel or my dad, like you guys need to drive. So Daniel drove. But I remember when we stopped at that gas station, I had lots of emotion. Like I wanted to cry. Yeah. I was just like, why do I want to cry? Like I know it was like hard for me, but like why do I have this feeling of crying? Yeah. But I just got in the car. I was just like, I played it off. I was like, okay, I'm not crying. Like, I just can't drive anymore. So that was it. And then at home, I told Daniel, I was like, Daniel, we're driving back home tomorrow, but I think I might be pregnant. I was like, I haven't used my tampon.
I got chills.
Exactly. And Daniel was like, no, like let's just wait until we're home. Like he was like, your period's probably just late. You were stressed out. We were packing, the trip.
So you had no pregnancy test back?
No, not there.
I would have been like, am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Like,
But something was telling me like you're not pregnant. Like don't get excited. Like just wait until you take the test.
I think you were already so numb to all the negatives.
Yeah, like I wasn't feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't excited.
Yeah.
So we got home, and the first thing I did, I had like Amazon test strips. They were really cheap, like flimsy. They're like little paper strips.
Oh, okay.
And the first thing I did, I went and pulled one out, and I went to the restroom to pee on it. And then I started seeing the line come up, and I froze. I was like, oh my God. And I started crying.
Oh,
I know. I'm getting emotional
no,
now.
no, yeah. It was such a happy moment because you were waiting for it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh. It's okay. You're okay. No, yeah. Well, you've been wanting this, so
Yeah,
hello.
I know. So it's a lot of emotion right now,
Yeah.
right? Talking about it, and even
Yeah.
but I called Daniel. I yelled. I was like, Daniel, come over here.
Yeah.
You need to see the test. And I
Yeah.
showed it to him, and he's like, what does that mean?
He said, nah.
Yeah. And I was like, it means it's positive. Like we're pregnant. And he was like, oh, you got COVID? No, he was like, we can't believe that test is super cheap. It's from Amazon. Like, what if it's not even true?
Maybe also him was like affecting that all the negatives. He's like, no, I don't want to get too excited too quick, you know?
Exactly. So then we had to go pick up our dog because his mom was dog sitting our dog while we were on our trip. So we were like, whatever, like let's just go pick up our dog. So we left to pick up our dog. We were there with my mother-in-law. We were just pretending like we didn't know anything, but deep down I was just like, oh my goodness, like we're pregnant, like this finally happened, like I want to share it, scream it to everyone. So after picking up our dog, Daniel did a pit stop at Target to pick up our test, like actual digital test. He's like, it has to say pregnant in order for it to be real. So Daniel got off and bought the pregnancy test at Target. We get home and I didn't have to go pee yet. I was like, I need to drink more water because I can't pee.
Every little drip.
I know. So I waited a little bit and then I took the test and Daniel was there with me and then it was positive and we were so happy. It just confirmed everything. I think I even took another one the next day just to make sure. I was like, is it really true? But we didn't want to tell anyone yet because since it took so long for us to get pregnant, if it's just a chemical pregnancy, like, yes, I'm pregnant, but then I'm going to start my period.
What's a chemical pregnancy?
Chemical pregnancy is when you have a miscarriage before the 5th week of pregnancy. So it's really early on into your so like let's say your period normally starts on your 4th week of the cycle, right? And so normally people find out at the 4th week of pregnancy, which I did, right? Our 4th week. And I was like, okay, like no, I have to wait because what if I have a miscarriage by like the 5th week and now I lost my baby and all this emotion.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always a scary thing. I feel like we talked about it like a week ago that if you were pregnant, you would tell someone right away.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to be alone through that also. Yeah, it's exciting, but also you need someone there when things like that happen, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So I realized that in future pregnancies, I am going to let everyone know immediately. Like, that's my thing now. Like, I want to, like, yell it, scream it. It's such a beautiful thing. And also, if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, you know,
we'll be there
I want the support. Because
Yeah.
imagine losing your baby and not having that support system. But again, everyone is different. Some people don't want that support. So it's okay too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And a lot of people with their first pregnancies don't really like think about that, having support while your miscarriage, and a lot of people don't want the support like you said.
Exactly.
But I feel like for me, I would definitely need that support. Or
so we didn't actually tell anyone for a few weeks. We waited until we were about like 7 weeks, and then that's when I invited my best friend to go out for dinner. I was like, I called her and I told her like, hey, let's go out for dinner. So she's used to going out with me and Daniel all the time. We go out together. She actually knew Daniel before I even knew him.
In
so
high school. 7 million years ago.
So they really know each other. So we went out for dinner. We went to an Italian restaurant in Newport. And it's funny because my best friend showed up in a pink shirt. And Daniel was wearing a blue shirt, and I was wearing like a beige dress. So
what is it?
As soon as I was there, I was just like, oh my goodness, like why is Daniel wearing blue? Why is she wearing pink? And I'm wearing neutral. So it was so funny. So we were just talking, and my best friend didn't even ask. So as soon as she came over, because we were gonna carpool to the restaurant, I showed them the little box that you gave us to reveal your pregnancy. And she thought it was us, like me and Daniel, until she opened, like as soon as she saw, like she tells me like as soon as you gave me the box, I thought it was you, like you and Daniel.
Wait, girl, so misleading.
Having a baby, and she opened it,
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, Richie and Mitzi are pregnant.
Yeah.
I think she thought Annie was pregnant again
Oh, no.
first, and then she was like, wait, Richie and Mitzi?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she like was really sad too because she really wanted us
Yeah,
to have
she's
a
your
baby.
best
She's
friend.
been my best friend for years, so
Valid. No. So in that same dinner, did you tell her?
exactly. So that same dinner, we were eating dinner, and then the server comes, and Daniel and Karen were ordering drinks, and I was like, "Oh, I can't drink. Can I have a virgin drink?" Like
And
I
she's
tried to,
like,
and they told me like, "Oh yeah, we have like this mojito, like a virgin mojito."
mhm.
So that's what I got, and then
That's so
Karen
funny.
didn't really even question it still.
You're like,
And I was like,
can
Karen,
I have a virgin?
I was like, Karen, I can't drink. And she's
Drink?
like, you're pregnant? And I was like, yes.
Yes,
She
girl.
started crying. I
Aw,
started crying. Daniel started
yay,
crying.
yay.
Yeah.
No,
And
yeah,
she
she's
was
really close to you guys.
exactly. So she did say that the whole ride she was like looking at my belly, like trying to see if I was pregnant or
She's
not.
like,
So my dress was very flowy, so you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
She was like, is she pregnant? Is she not?
Mhm.
That she told her sister before coming, like,
Mhm.
oh, we're going out for dinner to this really fancy Italian place in Newport.
Mhm.
Like, maybe they're gonna announce it.
Yeah.
But she's like, as soon as you showed me the box that Richie and Mitzi were pregnant,
It went like
yeah,
out
she's
her
like, it went
mind.
away. Like, maybe
Yeah.
it's not true. Like, I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
But after that, I had her. So she is a nurse. So I wanted to tell her because, like, what if something happens? Like, I'm gonna have her
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
She's gonna know how to deal with things. She can help me out.
Yeah.
So we had Minnesota tickets for 4th of July weekend, and I was going to be about 10 weeks, 9 weeks, I believe, when we went to Minnesota. So I didn't want to tell anyone until we got back.
Wait, that was almost like a year ago.
I know. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh, I know,
Time
it's so
flies
crazy.
by.
Oh my
Yeah, so I didn't want to tell anyone that I was pregnant until after we got back. So I'd be 12 weeks. I wanted to wait until the 3-month mark.
Yeah.
But then Daniel's mom was saying that she was going to go to Mexico for a whole month. I was like, okay, so if we wait until we come back, I'll be like 11 weeks, but then I'm going to have to wait a whole month
Yeah.
to tell my family, and I
Yeah.
can't hold it any longer.
Yeah.
So I told Daniel, like, you know what, like, let's just tell him before we go on our trip. We had our doctor's appointment right before, so we had the ultrasound. It confirmed everything. I was like, I was so happy. We
Yay,
heard
yeah.
his little heartbeat.
Mhm.
So Daniel loves to grill. If you don't know him, like, he loves to grill all kinds of food. I think he made like brisket that day. He made a
Very
brisket
good.
for everyone.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you for all the food. Thank you.
And we invited Daniel's family and all of my family, my sister and my brother and his family. My sister couldn't make it, unfortunately, but it's okay. We called her right after FaceTime. So this is how we announced it. And it's funny because Richie had to leave to work and my dad was at work.
Yeah.
So we were waiting for my dad to get back from work, and I was just
Mhm.
calling him like, Dad, are you almost home? Are you almost home? He was like helping a neighbor do something, and I was like, Dad, like, we planned
Yeah.
this barbecue. The food's getting cold. I was trying
And
to.
he's always there. He's always the first one
always
there, eating, drinking.
And he was making all kinds of excuses that he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And then Richie's like, oh, I have to go to work already. And then finally my dad shows up when Richie was like about to leave.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, I
Daniel,
remember.
go get the cake.
Yeah.
So I had actually made a cake that said baby 2025.
Oh, yeah.
So Daniel ran in to get the cake and he runs out with it. And Daniel's sister, right away, she was like, you're pregnant? And like she yelled it out, they're pregnant! And then everybody started crying. It was
I remember
full of
getting
emotions.
chills.
Even Richie and Missy, I think they were walking out already and they ran back like, what, you're pregnant?
Yeah, I know. We were so happy. We were like, yay, like I get someone to be pregnant with.
Yeah, so it's just so crazy how I found out a week after you told us that you were pregnant. I found out a whole week after that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So it was so crazy,
That
so
is
unplanned.
So crazy. I know. And I think now I love having someone to be pregnant with because Betty and I were always asking each other questions, you know, like, are you going through this? Did you go through this? You know, like
And in the following podcast, you're going to be able to learn a little bit on how our pregnancies were completely different.
Super, super, super different.
So different. There's things that I dislike about being pregnant.
There's a lot of things that I dislike about being pregnant, and that scare me for next pregnancy. I'm like, please, give me mercy, Jesus.
But that's for another day.
Yeah. But I think it's so crazy that you got pregnant once you relaxed. you were like, okay, I'm done. You handed it over to God. You were
Exactly. I remember telling Daniel, like, this, forget it, like, this isn't gonna happen anymore. Uh, we actually celebrated our boyfriend girlfriend anniversary for boyfriend girlfriend anniversary Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
So we went to the wineries that weekend to have wine. I was like, forget it, I'm not even pregnant. Like, I give up. But 2 weeks later,
yeah. Oh my God,
my
that's
positive
so
pregnancy
crazy.
test.
I know.
I just feel like what helped me was that I was so stressed out. I was so focused on, I want a baby, I want this now, that it wasn't happening. And as soon as I decided, you know what, forget this, it's not going to happen. Let's leave it up to God. Whenever it's God's timing, it's going to happen. And then it happened.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I know. And I love that we both have very different experiences. So maybe it could help other women that, I mean, if you're going through like what I went through and it was a total surprise, your life will not end. Trust me, it just starts when you're a mother. Everything is so much more beautiful. I feel like having Ollie brightened my life, honestly.
Yeah, and if it's not happening, be patient.
Yeah.
Everyone's timing is different. Just because other people are getting pregnant doesn't mean it's not going to happen to you. Just be patient.
But yeah, everyone has different journeys. Everyone's motherhood looks different. And that's why we're here, because Elizabeth and I had 2 different pregnancies, 2 different upbringings to motherhood, and it's okay, whatever you're going through, that's what we're here for. And maybe you guys relate to one of our stories and don't feel alone, through this process. Because when I found out I was pregnant, I felt a little alone because I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't know what was going to happen, but everything will be okay if it's a surprise for you.
And we want to hear your stories. Comment in our videos. Let us know your stories. We can provide our feedback, our input.
And if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask anything and we will answer it. We love getting to know people and we love to answer. We like to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, and sometimes you feel alone when you're pregnant. So, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be here. So just leave a comment. And thank you for tuning into this podcast. This is
Motherhood Unfiltered.
See you next Sunday.
Bye.